Hello, Andrew Corbett, Hygienic IT Australia here. Today I want to discuss what I believe are the two most important issues that's most relevant, especially as the world battles the increasing spread of COVID-19. The first, I believe, by far the most important of all, and that's for all of us to simply return back to the basics and adhere to good old common sense that most of us were taught as children by our parents. Surely most of us remember being constantly reminded by one or both parents to wash our hands with soap and water, not just water, after playing with our friends, our pets, working in the yard or garden, and before sitting at the dinner table, etc. In today's fast-paced society, where we're all guilty of endeavouring to cram far too much into our waking days, whether it's spending increased hours on our various social media platforms, video and music streaming, etc., or the increased pressures to do well at school, at work, or in our sporting achievements, that in many instances we simply forget the importance of maintaining simple yet very effective good hand hygiene practices. The second of equal importance is understanding the hygienic value gained by hand sanitisers and their proper use to maintain effective antibacterial protection. Now that COVID-19 has recently been declared a global pandemic, every day we're advised with increasing regularity to cough or sneeze into the crook of our elbow or a tissue, followed by washing our hands for at least 20 to 30 seconds. Thorough rinsing and drying completely before applying hand sanitizer, or if hand washing facilities are not available, simply applying a hand sanitizer. Lastly, we're all being asked to make every effort to stop or minimise touching our faces, which most of us simply don't realise we in fact touch in excess of 90 times or more each day. This is equally important as hand washing and hand sanitising to minimise contamination risk, as our faces have the only portals by which the COVID-19 virus can gain entry to our lungs, those being our ears, eyes, nose and mouth. And the one body part that's responsible for delivering over 80% of all infectious illnesses and diseases into our bodies via our ears, eyes, nose and mouth is, of course, our hands. Now at this point, let me state quite categorically that all of the above information is absolutely correct. However, the constantly conveyed message regarding the use of hand sanitizer needs to be further explained to the extent that there can be no misunderstandings as to when, how, and how often hand sanitizer should be applied to maximise the level of antibacterial protection. I certainly believe this point is vitally important to address, as currently there is an alarming lack of appropriate information to address these actions to the product users. This could potentially lead the users into believing that their level of hand protection is still very much active, long after the protection actually ceased, thereby leaving the user completely unprotected until they wash their hands and reapply hand sanitizer. Remembering that we can't see, feel or taste COVID-19 or any other infectious illness or disease, but we're constantly told that they are there on virtually all surfaces. So I will do my best to explain in plain English the key points of differentiation between hand sanitizer types. Firstly, there are only two types of hand sanitizers. They are the common alcohol-based, generally marketed as instant, and alcohol-free. Now let's talk about each type to better understand what each type provides by way of protection. When should they be applied? How long will they maintain protection? And how often should they be reapplied to maintain protection? Firstly, all supermarkets, chemists and most commercial trade suppliers generally stock any number of alcohol-based hand sanitizing products from numerous manufacturers. Whilst there are many different brands, they are all basically very similar. So let's look at the key points of differentiation. 1. All alcohol-based hand sanitisers are either isopropyl or ethanol-based, with between 60 to 90% volume for volume. Both are equally effective, whilst alcohol-free hand sanitisers can have a diverse range of activities, including silanes, triclosan, silver iron and benzalkonium chloride, etc. In the main, however, benzalkonium chloride is by far the most common. By the way, benzalkonium chloride is also the antibacterial agent to be found in most of the better disinfectants and germicidal cleaners, including mould, fungal and mildew removal products, etc. 2. All alcohol and alcohol-free hand sanitisers manufactured in Australia must provide 99.99% antibacterial protection to the user. Most manufacturers will readily provide test reports to show their products meet this quality benchmark. This is a very important point as unfortunately there are a growing number of products in or entering the marketplace at this time that state it's totally organic or it's botanical or it's herbal or a combination, including the many produced at home using any number of ingredients including eucalyptus oil, bleach, manuka honey, baking soda, citrus juices, vinegars, etc., etc. They all claim to kill germs and viruses. However, most have not tested their products to show their 99% effectiveness. 3. All alcohol-based hand sanitisers effectively kill bacteria and viruses by drying. However, the effectiveness is extremely short-lived as the alcohol evaporates within a maximum of just 30 seconds. Once evaporation is complete, no further antibacterial protection is maintained, so continual, frequent reapplication must be maintained to retain protection. 4. As all alcohol-based hand sanitisers kill by drying, one of the disadvantages is that they dry the user's skin with many users contracting or experiencing aggravation of painful dermatitis. Whilst many products, including a moisturised additive, many users are still forced to use skin moisturising lotions to offset the drying effect. Whilst all alcohol hand sanitisers are flammable, considered toxic, and young children must be supervised when applying as ingestion can certainly lead to alcohol poisoning. 5. Whereas all alcohol-free hand sanitisers effectively kill bacteria and viruses by disruption, whilst the time span of their effective protection varies from as little as 5 minutes to many hours. They are non-flammable, non-drying, non-toxic, and do not cause or aggravate dermatitis. And 6. Last but equally a most important point of differentiation between alcohol and alcohol-free hand sanitisers is the real practicality and the cost of each product. Earlier we spoke about the very short time-based protection provided by alcohol-based hand sanitizer, which simply means constant application to maintain protection. Using more product naturally incurs added costs. Conversely, the use of alcohol-free hand sanitisers in most instances certainly offer protection for periods greater than alcohol sanitisers, which means less product usage and costs. I certainly recommend reading the product label for recommended reapplication information before purchasing. I trust you all now have a far more informed understanding of the differences between alcohol and non-alcohol hand sanitisers. The important message here, folks, is whatever sanitizer you choose to use, it will certainly increase your level of hand protection, far greater than just washing your hands with soap and water alone. The last, but what I consider the most important information I can pass on to you today is to ideally select the sanitizer that will protect you and your family members for the period everybody is normally away from home, at work, school, shopping, etc., during the day until their return with just one application prior to leaving home. As an example, I ask you to please consider our very own HITOS 12-hour alcohol-free hand sanitizer. Our sanitizer has been independently tested and proven to provide 99.99% antibacterial protection for up to 12 hours before reapplication is required. The added protection advantage of our product is that multiple hand washing throughout the day does not diminish the level of protection. Our product leaves hands feeling soft with a light, pleasant lavender fragrance. Should you or members of your family anticipate being away from home for more than 12 hours, then simply carry a 60ml personal protection pack and apply at a convenient time to recommence the full 12-hour protection. The key message here simply involves getting all family members into the habit of applying the HIDOS 12-hour alcohol-free hand sanitizer before leaving home each day. In the same way, we prepare ourselves for our days ahead, such as showering, dressing, enjoying a good breakfast, cleaning our teeth, applying makeup and sunscreen, etc. In closing, I have a little saying that I will share with you that constantly reminds my family and friends how best to protect themselves throughout their days. And that is simply, healthy hands, healthier you. And it always begins at home. Well, that concludes my video today. I trust you found it informative and helpful. If you would like to discuss any of my points, either positively or negatively, or would like to know more about our HIDOS 12-hour hand sanitizer, then simply send me an email at andrew.c@hitoz, that is hitoz.com.au, and I will reply in my first instance. I thank you, and bye for now.